All right.
Personal, I mean personal for me, not for you, so don't be afraid. Do you recall our first meeting online and what that would entail?
I think it was something to do with a compilation. Uh, is that correct? You were gonna do a
I
compilation?
started the Miami Bass History route in 2000, and by 2001, Neil Case, bass mechanic,
Right.
had offered me a deal to where I would license music, new school electro. He wanted to tap into it.
Right.
And I was already following the Dutch guys in Holland and of course Detroit, where I'm from. So I wanted to include Florida. I felt that we were such a part of it from the beginning, and obviously it was a Floridian label, bass mechanic, so we wanted to include it. I remember thinking I need to reach out to this guy, and you reached out to me first, and I was pretty shocked.
Yeah, I tend to do that.
You sent me a nice little package, but it certainly had music as a drug in it, and I said this guy again. I was pretty shocked at your method. I'll just say it that way, and I wanted to get you included. And then the whole project was shelved. I think Bass Mechanic went belly up for a little while, so it didn't happen. Now the reason why I asked that is because shortly after that, a lot of us had to do an about face, as we all have to do in business, and next thing you know, Electro Alliance started.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stop being personal here in 30 seconds. I was a big user of SoulSeek, and I got a message from an unknown stranger that said, "I see that you're sharing Anthony Rother." I said, "Well, yeah, I'm certainly a fan." He said, "Do you know this guy Larry McCormick?" I said, "Well, I've interacted with him, sure." And he told me a whole story about how you brought Anthony Rother to Florida, and that you guys were about to start something called Electro Alliance. And he told me, to be frank with you, he said, Larry McCormick got Anthony Rother laid, and that's what started this whole thing. I don't know who the guy was, couldn't tell you a thing one about it. Would you like to share the real story?
The real story is Anthony Rother produced a record called Red Light District, which, in my opinion, changed, the whole face of electro. Again, with it, the song is Red Light District, and it's obviously about a prostitute, and he's cussing in it and everything, and it has the attitude. It's a dark track, but it's real clubby, bassy, 808, and again, that's one of those two records that I'll always say at that era that really, clicked with me and really gave me a lot of energy. It's Jock on Hyde Beyond and Anthony Rother, Red Light District. When I heard Red Light District, that record, we were starting to do this club called Tilt, and the owner was down to, pay for acts or whatever. And I said, we got to bring Anthony Rother. We have to bring Anthony Rother, because I saw a clip of him playing a live show in Germany, and he had all this equipment. At that time, I had never seen anything like it. Up to that point, it was a band. One guy's on the guitar, another guy's on the keyboard, one guy's on the mic. But the very first time I saw a guy with multiple keyboards doing the vocals, like doing everything, one-man band, was Anthony Rother. And I'm like, we got to bring that here. Besides being a fan of his music, I'm like, this is crazy, I mean, I've, like I said, I've never seen that before. And I thought, at the time, South Florida was like really in an identity crisis. The rave scene started dying down. House music breaks was like really, it just, it was at a real standstill. So I felt strongly that if South Florida was introduced to the likes of Anthony Rother, etc., that it would change things. And so I was really intent on bringing him here. And so I was able to get in touch with his agent, had him booked. At the last minute, he tried to cancel. I'm like, you better get on that plane. And he came here for 3 days. He played the show. It was at Till. There was probably 700 people, and the place just went crazy. I mean, it was like a vibe. Like, I've rarely seen that type of show. And we hung out, and I played some of my music, which was Resident Alien, early Resident Alien. Music is the Drug. If you look at the Music is the Drug record, it actually says mixed by Anthony Rother. When he was at my house that weekend, he actually mixed the song down. And no, he had a girlfriend at the time. I didn't get him laid. And you know, we just had a mutual connection with the music. He thought it was cool that somebody across the planet was so much into his music and was wanting to share it with people. And when he heard my music, he genuinely, and he thought that there was something there that he wanted to help get my music out. But I don't know. Could somebody's career be built on getting somebody laid?
Well, Electro Alliance was built.
Yeah.
What would you like to say about Electro Alliance?
Electro Alliance was built because Anthony, at that time, was just starting to travel all over the world, and he would go to a certain city, and there would be this crew of real big electro fans, like nuts about electro music, but it would just be that one little city. Then he would go to the next city, and it would be, now you're talking a couple hundred people in each city, which is, in the grand scheme of things, not a big deal. But if you were somehow be able to connect all these little cities, these little crews, and all these people that love the music, if you were somehow able to get those people to connect, it would be something special. And that's how Electro Alliance started. You know, that was like the time of message boards. So that was the idea behind it. Anthony Rother had the idea, and I had the energy, and I made it into a real thing, you know? So that's how I got started.